Capital. A Critique of Political Economy. Volume I. Book 1. The Process of Production. Production of Capital. First published, in German in 1867, English edition first published in 1887, source, first English edition of 1887, fourth German edition changes included as indicated, with some modernization of spelling, publisher, Progress Publishers, Moscow, USSR, translated, Samuel Moore and Edward Aveling, edited by Frederick Engels, transcribed, Zodiac, Hinrich Kuhls, Allan Thurrott, Bill McDorman, Bert Schultz and Martha Gimenez, 1995 to 1996, proofed, by Andy Blunden and Chris Clayton, 2008, Mark Harris, 2010, Dave Allinson, 2015. Table of Contents. Preface to the first German edition, Marx, 1867. 5. Preface to the French edition, Marx, 1872. 8. Afterword to the second German edition, 1873. 9. Afterword to the French edition, 1875. 15. Preface to the third German edition, 1883. 16. Preface to the English edition, Engels, 1886. 18. Preface to the fourth German edition, Engels, 1890. 21. Part 1. Commodities and Money. 25. Chapter 1. Commodities. 26. Section 1. The two factors of a commodity, use value and value, the substance of value and the magnitude of value. 26. Section 2. The twofold character of the labor embodied in commodities. 29. Section 3. The form of value or exchange value. 32. Section 4. The fetishism of commodities and the secret thereof. 46. Chapter 2. Exchange. 59. Chapter 3. Money, or the circulation of commodities. 66. Section 1. The measure of values. 66. Section 2. The medium of circulation. 70. Section 3. Money. 83. Part 2. Transformation of money into capital. 102. Chapter 4. The general formula for capital. 103. Chapter 5. Contradictions in the general formula of capital. 110. Chapter 6. The buying and selling of labor power. 118. Part 3. The production of absolute surplus value. 125. Chapter 7. The labor process and the process of producing surplus value. 126. Section 1. The labor process or the production of use values. 126. Section 2. The production of surplus value. 130. Chapter 8. Constant capital and variable capital. 141. Chapter 9. The rate of surplus value. 149. Section 1. The degree of exploitation of labor power. 149. Section 2. The representation of the components of the value of the product by corresponding proportional parts of the product itself. 153. Section 3. Senior's last hour. 155. Section 4. Surplus produce. 158. Chapter 10. The working day. 161. Section 1. The limits of the working day. 161. Section 2. The greed for surplus labor. Manufacturer and Board. 163. Section 3. Branches of English industry without legal limits to exploitation. 167. Section 4. Day and night work. The relay system. 174. Section 5. The struggle for a normal working day. Compulsory laws for the extension of the working day from the middle of the 14th to the end of the 17th century. 177. Section 6. The struggle for a normal working day. Compulsory limitation by law of the working time. English Factory Acts, 1833. 183. Section 7. The struggle for a normal working day. Reaction of the English Factory Acts on other countries. 193. Chapter 11. Rate and mass of surplus value. 212. Part 4. Production of relative surplus value. 218. Chapter 12. The concept of relative surplus value. 219. Chapter 13. Cooperation. 226. Chapter 14. Division of labor and manufacture. 236. Section 1. Twofold origin of manufacture. 236. Section 2. The detail laborer and his implements. 237. Section 3. The two fundamental forms of manufacture. Heterogeneous manufacture, serial manufacture. 239. Section 4. Division of labor in manufacture, and division of labor in society. 243. Section 5. The capitalistic character of manufacture. 247. Chapter 15. Machinery and modern industry. 259. Section 1. The development of machinery. 259. Section 2. The value transferred by machinery to the product. 266. Section 3. The proximate effects of machinery on the workman. 269 Section 4, the factory. 282 Section 5, the strife between workman and machine. 285 Section 6, the theory of compensation as regards the workpeople displaced by machinery. 291 Section 7, repulsion and attraction of workpeople by the factory system. Crises in the cotton trade. 296 Section 8, revolution effected in manufacture, handicrafts, and domestic industry by modern industry. 302. Section 9, the Factory Acts. Sanitary and educational clauses of the same. Their general extension in England. 313 Section 10, modern industry and agriculture. 327 Part 5, production of absolute and relative surplus value. 355 Chapter 16, absolute and relative surplus value. 356 Chapter 17, changes of magnitude in the price of labor power and in surplus value. 364 Section 1, length of the working day and intensity of labor constant. Productiveness of labor variable. 364 Section 2, working day constant. Productiveness of labor constant. Intensity of labor variable. 367. Section 3, productiveness and intensity of labor constant. Length of the working day variable. 367. Section 4, simultaneous variations in the duration, productiveness, and intensity of labor. 369 Chapter 18, various formula for the rate of surplus value. 372 Part 6, wages. 375 Chapter 19, the transformation of the value and respective price of labor power into wages. 376 Chapter 20, time wages. 381 Chapter 21, piece wages. 387. Chapter 22, national differences of wages. 393. Part 7, the accumulation of capital. 397 Chapter 23, simple reproduction. 398 Chapter 24, conversion of surplus value into capital. 407 Section 1, capitalist production on a progressively increasing scale. Transition of the laws of property that characterize production of commodities into laws of capitalist appropriation. 407 Section 2, erroneous conception, by political economy, of reproduction on a progressively increasing scale. 412. Section 3, separation of surplus value into capital and revenue. The abstinence theory. 414 Section 4, circumstances that, independently of the proportional division of surplus value into capital and revenue, determine the amount of accumulation. Degree of exploitation of labor power. Productivity of labor. Growing difference in amount between capital employed and capital consumed. Magnitude of capital advanced. 418 Section 5, the so-called labor fund. 423 Chapter 25, the general law of capitalist accumulation. 431 Section 1, the increased demand for labor power that accompanies accumulation, the composition of capital remaining the same. 431. Section 2, relative diminution of the variable part of capital simultaneously with the progress of accumulation and of the concentration that accompanies it. 435 Section 3, progressive production of a relative surplus population or industrial reserve army. 439 Section 4, different forms of the relative surplus population. The general law of capitalistic accumulation. 446 Section 5, illustrations of the general law of capitalist accumulation. 450 Part 8, primitive accumulation. 503 Chapter 26, the secret of primitive accumulation. 504. Chapter 27, expropriation of the agricultural population from the land. 507. Chapter 28, bloody legislation against the expropriated, from the end of the 15th century. Forcing down of wages by acts of parliament. 519 Chapter 29, genesis of the capitalist farmer. 525 Chapter 30, reaction of the agricultural revolution on industry. Creation of the home market for industrial capital. 527 Chapter 31, the genesis of the industrial capitalist. 530. Chapter 32, historical tendency of capitalist accumulation. 538. Chapter 33, the modern theory of colonization 1. 540.